I keep coming back to the same question these days. Why does the conversation about Indian health never goes anywhere? Every time somebody brings up the diabetes epidemic, which is a real epidemic in India, the answer always seems to be the same and simplistic. It's either about too much rice or too little exercise. Just blame the lifestyle and move on. Look, there is some truth to that, I agree. However, something about this answer always felt incomplete to me, as if we are talking about the smoke, ignoring the fire that is causing the smoke. Then I came across some research that completely changed how I was thinking about this. And this does not start in a hospital or a nutrition study. It starts 4,000 years ago in a place called Indus Valley. We all grew up being told to be proud of Harappans, their cities, their drainage systems, and their trade networks. All that pride is well placed. But no one ever tells you that what living in that environment and that geography did to people over hundreds of years, what it did to their bodies, and how these bodies now sitting inside you and me in a world they were never built for. If you have ever felt like you're fighting your own biology just to stay healthy, this might be a big part of why. Let me walk you through what science and history together says about this. The story most of us know about Indus Valley is a story of greatness, and it should be. Mohenjo-daro and Harappa had better urban planning than most of Europe for next 2000 years. Running water, public drainage, and a trade network that reached from Mesopotamia to Central Asia. All incredible and real achievements, no contesting that. However, what this story leaves out is what that land itself was doing to people who lived in there. The same rivers and plains that made the civilization possible and possibly incredible also made life very hard very often. The human bodies over many generations respond to hard conditions. This is not a metaphor, this is how biology works. Before I get into the history part of this, I want to make sure we are clear on the science because it isn't a fringe theory or a wellness content. This is well documented, peer reviewed, hard research that has been accepted by World Health Organization. South Asian bodies are biologically different from European bodies, not in some vague way, measurably, specifically different. This difference has a name. It's called the thin fat Indian phenotype. It was identified by Dr. C.S. Yajnik and his team at KEM Hospital, Pune. What they found is this: Indian newborns are born with less muscle mass and higher body fat than European babies of the same weight. This has nothing to do with what their mother ate. This pattern is there before the baby has had a single meal. The difference does not go away. South Asian adults carry more fat around their organs and between their muscles than any other ethnic group ever studied, even at the same BMI. And here is the key part: less muscle directly causes insulin resistance and type 2 diabetes. Not just the extra fat, the missing muscle does it on its own. The World Health Organization now says that South Asians' overweight begins at BMI of 23, not 25 like Western standard. Indians get type 2 diabetes at a weight where Europeans would be considered completely normal. The American Diabetes Association says South Asians get diabetes much younger, at a lower weight, and with worse insulin resistance. This is not a debated concept. This is in the medical guidelines around the world. So the question I kept asking is, where does this pattern actually originate from? And that's where the Indus Valley comes in. The Indus Valley civilization lasted around 700 years from about 2600 BCE to 1900 BCE. At its peak, it covered more land than ancient Egypt and Mesopotamia put together. Around 5 million people lived in it. In November 2025, a study published in Nature and Lancet confirmed something researchers had been suspecting for a very long time. The Harappan civilization did not fall because of invasion or infighting. It collapsed because of harsh climatic conditions, specifically destroyed by droughts. Massive droughts between 4,450 and 3,400 years ago. each one lasting more than 85 years, one of them lasting for 164 years. The rainfall dropped by 13%. The Saraswati River, which the Harappans used to grow their food, practically dried up. Just sit with that for a moment. A drought that lasted for 164 years. No one who was born during the drought lived to see it end. No one alive during it has been born before it started. This wasn't a bad harvest. This wasn't a tough decade. This was just life, generation after generation, an eternal grind. Now, I want to be honest with you about what I'm claiming here because there are two separate things I want to highlight. The first one is solid science. The thin fat phenotype is real. It shows up in newborns. It's there before anyone has eaten anything. That part is not in question. The second part is the explanation. The idea that these droughts shaped the metabolism of the people who survived it. The theory is that when food is scarce for a very long time, the people who make it through are not the strongest or the fastest, are those whose body is most efficient. They pack on fat instead of muscle because fat lasts longer. And that survival trait got passed down to surviving generations. This explanation is taken seriously by many researchers, and it's the best answer we have to explain this. But it is still a hypothesis, not proven to the same level as the clinical data. I think it's important to clarify that at this point. With that said, here is the logic of it. The famine that goes on for 164 years, you don't have much choice about what you eat. Animal protein like meat, fish disappears first. The livestock die. Rivers dry up. What's left is grain like wheat and barley. The body that made it through learned how to get the most out of grain. It stored every calorie it could find as fat, especially around the organs and between muscles, where body usually keeps its longest lasting energy reserves in the form of fat. The archaeology backs this up. In the good years, Harappan sites show a varied diet patterns such as grains, pulses, meat, fish and dairy. But in the drought periods, the record gets much narrower, mostly grain. That body, the one built for scarcity, is the body that might be sitting inside you and me right now, running the same program of scarcity in a world where food never runs out. This is what biologists call a mismatch. And whether it came from specifically the Indus Valley years because of droughts or from a longer history of scarcity around South Asia, the result is the same. A body built for famine, now living in the world of instant noodles and desk jobs. So, what does it all mean? Here is what I actually think. The Harappans were extraordinary. They survived conditions that would have wiped out most of the well known ancient civilizations. Their history is worth to be proud of. But here is what frustrates me. The Indian body keeps getting treated like a slightly darker version of Western body. Same diet advice, same BMI charts, same guidelines. As if thousands of years of different biology just did not happen. That's not a small mistake. In my view, this is a very big reason why the diabetes epidemic in India keeps getting worse, not better. And personally, I think knowing your own biology is no longer optional. The gap between what this body was built for and what modern life in India is offering is getting bigger every year. Every generation that moves from field work to desk work, from home cooked whole grains to highly processed food, is widening that gap. The Harappans had no say in the conditions they lived through, but we have information they never did. The question is, what do we do with that information? So, that's the random take on Indus Valley civilization and the body it left behind. I want to hear from you. Does knowing this change how you think about health advice aimed at Indians? If the biology is genuinely different and built by different conditions and history, should the guidance be different too? Or do you think I'm reading too much into this? Tell me in the comments. I read every one of them. If this made something familiar to you look completely different, that's exactly what I aim in this channel. Please subscribe because next time I want to get into what this old metabolic pattern is colliding with in modern Indian life and how we can protect ourselves better from it. Until next time, stay healthy.